Hello students, very good evening. Myself Muniraj Naidu, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. So in this video, I am going to discuss about network layer design issues. So what is meant by network layer? What is the purpose of network layer? What are the various functionalities of network layer? And the basic design issues of network layer. So all of you know that network layer is one of the important layer in OSI reference model. From bottom to top, it is the third most layer. Physical layer, bottom layer, next one data link layer, next network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, application layer. So among those 7 layers, network layer plays a vital role in real-time applications also. So these are the contents, introduction, functions and design issues. So network layer is majorly focused on getting packets from source to the destination, right? So already we discussed in the previous videos, the physical layer is concerned about the raw information in the form of the zeros and ones, whereas the data link layer is concerned about the frames, whereas the network layer is majorly focused on getting packets from source node to the destination node. And then routing, error handling and congestion control. So what are the various functions of network layer? First one, addressing, packeting, third one, routing and internetworking. So what is meant by addressing? Each and every packet according to the network layer and according to the data link layer, each and every frame which maintains some address, right? So how it is possible? In any particular network, there is no guarantee that how many number of nodes are available at that particular point of time, because some of the nodes may be operated with the help of batteries. So number of nodes may be increased or decreased. So addressing in the sense here, we need to maintain the address at the frame header of both the source as well as the destination, and also perform some addressing to detect various devices in the network. Then packeting. So this is purely done by the IP Internet Protocol. So the network layer which converts the packets from its upper layer. So that is the network layer transmits the packets from its upper layer, that is the transport layer. Next one, routing. So in case of network layer, routing is the one of the important functionality, because the network layer chooses the most relevant and best path for the data transmission from source to destination. So what happens whenever the source node and destination node belongs to different networks, then automatically these networks may be logically connected to each other. So there is a concept here we can call it as a internetworking. It works to deliver a logical connection across multiple devices. So these are the basic concepts as well as the functions. See, this is one of the important function. The main function of the network layer. Network layer is one of the important layer which delivers data in the form of the data packets from source to destination across multiple hops or multiple links. At the same time, network layer also controls the operation of the subnet. So you know what is meant by subnet, right? So this is one particular subnet. There are number of hosts, how these hosts may be communicated. See, this is the representation of network layer. We know the bottom level layer of network layer, that is the data link layer. The upper level layer of network layer, that is the transport layer, right? See, this is the sending data in the form of the packets from transport layer to the network layer. Similarly, the network layer transmits the same packets to the data link layer. See, this is the path, right? So always the network layer is concerned about the data in the form of the packets. See, whatever the functions of network layer, those are elaborated here for understanding purpose. Whenever the data is ready to be sent, then the network layer accepts data from the transport level layer. And whatever the data the network layer accepted from the transport layer, that particular data is divided and encapsulates into the packets. Whatever the data, that particular data is divided and packet 1, packet 2. This is our data. Actually, this data is at transport level layer. This is at a network level. So once the data is divides and encapsulates it into the packets and sends that particular information to the next below level layer, that is the data link layer, in the form of the frames, frame 1, frame 2, frame 3 and so on. So similarly, the reverse procedure is also done during the receiving data. So simply say that the network layer which is responsible for routing packets from source to destination. Here, another question is, sir, how that particular route may be chosen? The routes can be based upon the static tables that are rarely changed, depends upon the application, or they can be automatically updated depending upon the network conditions. So, whatever the available networks, those networks are partitioned into the sub-networks. Those are called as a simply subnets. Subnets. So, here the network layer which controls the operation of all the subnets. Hence, the network devices called as a router. So, you are very familiar about the word router. So, network devices which are called routers which operate in this particular layer to forward packets between various subnets or different networks. So, there are real-time applications, there are different subnets. So, subnet 1, subnet 2, subnet 3. So, here the routers helps to transmit data in between various subnets, right? Then, whatever the lower level layers which are assigned the physical address locally, whenever the data packets are routed to remote locations, so there is no direct communication between the source as well as the destination. Then a logical addressing scheme is required to differentiate the source system as well as the destination system. Who provides that particular logical addressing scheme? Only the network layer only. So similarly, the network layer which is also provides the mechanisms for congestion control. What is meant by congestion? Simply say that traffic. There is a situation when too many data packets overload the subnets. So that is congestion. Similarly, the network layer which solves issues like transmission delays, transmission time, avoidance of jitters. There are a number of issues which is handled by only the network layer. Now coming to the design issues of network layer. We have 5 design issues. Basically, first one is store and forward packet switching. Listen carefully. Store and forward packet switching. You know what is meant by store, what is meant by forward, and here the network layer deals about the data in the form of the packet. So coming to that point, store and forward packet switching. Second design issue, services provided to the transport layer. You know the upper level layer of network level layer is transport layer. So the services provided to the transport layer. Then implementation of connectionless service and implementation of connection oriented service. So already we discussed in the OSI reference model, right? So there is only two ways to communicate various nodes, either connection oriented fashion or connectionless fashion. So how the network layer implement the connection oriented services and how the network layer implements connectionless services. Then final design issue is a comparison between those two. Comparison of virtual circuit and datagram subnets. So that is the connectionless as well as the connection oriented services. So these are the 5 basic design issues of network layer. Store and forward packet switching, services provided to the transport layer, implementation of connectionless service, implementation of connection oriented service, and comparison of virtual circuit and datagram subnets. So let us discuss one by one. Store and forward packet switching. See, this is the environment of the network layer protocols. See here, this is a subnet. This is one particular subnet. These are all the various routers A, B, C, D, E, F, something, right? So let us take, this is the host one which acts as a source node, host one which acts as a source node. Within that particular host, there are a number of processes, right? You know, P1, P2, P3 and so on up to Pn. So let us take P1 is a process which is ready to transmit data in the form of the packets to the destination node. So in this example, the host 2, see here, this is the host 2 acts as a destination, and the process P2 associated with this particular host 2, which is related to our data transmission, right? Okay. See, whenever the host executes this particular process P1, then the data in the form of the packets are entered into this particular subnet through the node A, or we can call it as the router A, right? So whatever the equipment, with the help of that particular equipment, various routers may be communicated. That is, here we can call as a carrier's equipment. So it carries that particular information from host 1 to the host 2. See, there is no direct communication between host 1 to host 2, right? Host 2 is directly communicated with the router F. How? With the help of the LAN, local area network, right? But the overall subnet which is communicated to the host 2 only through the router F. Similarly, the overall subnet which is communicated to host 1 only through the router A. Now, whenever the router A receives the information, then whatever the information it receives, that particular information is stored sometime at router A. Now, it decides in which way I am going to transmit that particular information, because there are number of ways for each and every router, but it chooses the path towards to the destination. Is it right? See here, according to the router A, there are only two choices, either router B or router C. So the data may be passes either through router B or through router C. So let us consider here our data may be transmitted through router C. See, this is the one which represents packet 1. Maybe it depends upon our data. My data is divided into the number of packets. Let us consider P1, P2, P3 and P4. So the packet 1 which is transmitted from A to C. Then again we have two choices, either through E or through D. See, this is one way, this is another way, right? So in this way, whenever each and every router which is accepted the original information, that particular information stores some time, and after finalizing the path, that particular information is transmitted towards that particular path only. So that means store and forward packet switching. Store and forward packets. So that is the basic concept of store and forward packet switching. So finally, whatever the data packets, those are reached to this particular router F. Now the router F which is communicated to this particular host 2. Right. So that is the first design issue of network layer. Store and forward packet switching. Right. Then second one, services provided to the transport layer. So whatever the services provided by the network layer to the upper layer, that is a transport layer, these services should be independent of the router technology, because that is very important, because nowadays each and every application came up with different parameters, right? So that means my application is runs only on this particular configuration only this particular system is having only this particular router, then only my application works. So that is not used in real time. So the services should be independent of the router technology. Then next service, the transport layer should be shielded from either the number or the type and the topology of the routers present. Right? So that the transport layer should be shielded from what is the number of routers present in that particular application. What is the type of that particular router? What is the topology of that particular router? You know, topology, whether it follows the star topology, ring topology, mesh topology. Third service, the network addresses made available to the transport layer should use a uniform numbering plan. You know, always the network addresses or uniform numbering plan, just like our IP address 192.168.7.1 something. But here connectionless and connection oriented. Whenever internet, that is a connectionless, and ATM, that is a connection oriented. So there are certain services provided by the network layer to the transport layer. Those are broadly classified into connection oriented as well as the connectionless. You know the basic difference between connection oriented and connectionless. In case of connection oriented services, the path is set up between the source node as well as the destination node. Once the path is set up, then only the data may be transmitted from source to destination. That is a connection setup, connection oriented service. You know, request, use, release. Similarly, connectionless services. In this service, each and every packet of the message is considered as an independent entity. That means the packet itself chooses its own path, depends upon the congestion, and is individually routed from source to the destination. There is no, we can call it as a predefined path is established in case of connectionless. Connectionless means each and every packet of the message which is considered as an independent entity and is individually routed from source to the destination. Hence, the objectives of the network layer while providing these services to the transport layer are: the services should not be dependent upon the router technology. The router configuration details should not be of a concern to the transport layer. Then, uniform addressing plan should be made available to the transport layer, whether the network is using either LAN, WAN or MAN. Then coming to the third service. What is the third service? Implementation of connectionless services. You know, connectionless means each and every packet have chosen its own path from source to destination. So let us consider the same example, the same subnet, you know, host 1 which is executed, process P1, host 2, the process P2 which is executed at host 2. These are the routers A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, how the connectionless service is implemented? You know, connectionless, there is no predefined path. Is it right? See, let us consider each and every router which maintains some routing table. Just like our processors maintains the process table in operating system. So similarly, in case of computer networks also, each and every router which maintains some routing table. See here, this is the router A routing table. Initially, these are the various routers, right? A, B, C, D, E, F. A, B, C, D, E, F. Initially, this is the destination and this is the line through which the data may be transmitted. That specifies the line. C, A to A, nil. Then B, C to C, D. D means either through C or B. So initially, according to the routing table of A, initially through B, the data packet may reach to the node or router D. Similarly, E through C, F, C through C. Initially, later, see here, later, these two are changed because there is a chance for transmitting the data packet through B. See, B to D and D to E. Right? E to, this is the destination, this is the line. Right? See, according to the router A, the destination is, for example, E. Right? Through which node the data packets are transmitted to the router E through B. So that's represents here E to B. Then F is the destination node, then through B only. So finally the data packets are reached like this according to the router A. Similarly, for router C, there is a routing table. Right? See, A, B, C, D, F, these are the nodes or routers available in that particular subnet, and through which line the data are transmitted or packets are transmitted. See, A to A, B means through A only, C to C, then D to D, E to E, F to E. So, F matram, E nunchi matrame. Similarly, we have to maintain for each and every router which is in that particular subnet. So, that is the implementation of connectionless service. See, in case of connectionless service, each and every packet is transmitted independently. So, each packet contains its routing information and that is called it as a datagram. So, whenever we are going to implement connectionless service, right, whatever the data packets they chooses its own path towards to the destination node, those are called as a datagrams. Datagrams. Here, the network using datagram for transmission, which is called as a datagram network or simply datagram subnets. Connectionless ante datagram. Connection oriented aithe virtual circuit. So, in case of connectionless, there is no prior setup of routes are needed before transmitting a message. You know, right? In case of connectionless, there is no prior setup of routes between the source as well as the destination. But each and every datagram which belongs to the message follows its own individual route from source to destination. Right? So, my data is divided into the number of packets, right? Packet 1, packet 2, packet 3, packet 4. So, it depends upon the path or depends upon the traffic. So, the packet P1 may choose us from in this way and packet 2 may in this way. So, this is my destination node. So, finally, these packets are reached to the destination. So, each and every datagram belongs to the message, follows its own individual route from source to destination. The best example for this connectionless service is IP, Internet Protocol. We will discuss later in the regarding this Internet Protocol. Next one, fourth service provided by the network layer, implementation of connection-oriented service. You know the basic difference between connection-oriented and connectionless. Connection-oriented means before actual data transmission is done, there is a path establishment is done. Once the path is established, then within that particular path only the data may be transmitted. See, let us consider this is an example. Here, this is the subnet. But in addition to a host 1 and host 2. Here we need to include host 3. Right, the process P3 which is executed by the host 3. So this is the routing within a virtual circuit. You know, virtual circuit subnet means whenever connection oriented services are there, then we can call it as a virtual circuit subnet. Right? See, this is the routing table of A, this is the routing table of C and E. Sir, why we choose only A, C, E? What about remaining B, D, F? It's there. But according to our requirement, my requirement is my source node is A. According to this particular subnet, the router is A and destination is F. But my host process, how that is communicated with my destination process? My host process, either P1 or P3, those are communicated only with the help of router A only. Those are communicated to destination node, that is the host 2. See, here we need to consider what is the input line and what is the output line. See, for routing table of node A or router A, see H1, that is the 1, and H3, that is the 1. Similarly for C, right? So it may be communicated either 1 or 2. 2 is the output line. So each and every node which maintains a routing table. Right? See, in connection oriented services, a path or a route which is called as a virtual circuit. Very important. Connection oriented services means virtual circuits. Connectionless means datagram subnets. So which is set up between the source as well as the destination nodes before the actual data transmission starts. So what happens once the path is established, then all the packets regarding that particular message are sent along that particular route only. So each and every packet which contains an identifier, so we can call it as that is a packet identifier, which denotes the virtual circuit to which it belongs to. Because we don't know exactly, right? So which packet belongs to which virtual circuit. So each and every packet contains an identifier that denotes the virtual circuit to which it belongs to. Whenever all the data packets are transmitted, then the virtual circuit is terminated and the connection is released. So that's why in case of connection oriented services, you know, request, use, release. When all the data packets are transmitted, that means our work is completed, then the virtual circuit is terminated and the connection is released. The best example for this connection oriented services or virtual circuits are multi-protocol label switching. Multi-protocol label switching. And last service, that is a comparison of virtual circuit and datagram subnets. Comparison of virtual circuits, that means comparison of connection oriented service and connectionless. See, there are a number of issues. How those issues are compared with both connection oriented as well as the connectionless. See, connection setup in case of datagram means this is connectionless. Virtual circuit means connection oriented. So circuit setup, there is no need of circuit setup in case of connectionless, but in case of connection oriented, which is required. Then addressing. Second issue is addressing. Here, each and every packet which contains the full source as well as the destination address. In case of connectionless, each and every packet which contains full source as well as the destination address. Whereas in case of connection oriented, each packet contains a short virtual circuit number. Then next one, state information. So routers, in case of connectionless, routers do not hold state information about connections. Whereas in case of connection oriented, each and every virtual circuit which requires router table space per connection. Next, coming to the next issue, routing. So in case of connectionless, that is the datagram subnets, each and every packet is routed independently because it is a connectionless. Whereas in case of connection oriented, the route chosen whenever the virtual circuit is set up. So what happens once the route is chosen, then all the packets follow within that particular same path only. Next issue, effect of router failures. So what happens within that particular subnet, if any router may be failed. In case of datagram subnets, nothing will happen because except for packets lost during the crash, because each and every packet chooses its own path. Whereas in case of connection oriented, all the virtual circuits that pass through that particular failed router are terminated, because all the packets which are passing through that router which is failed, those are terminated because the particular router is no more. Next one is QoS, quality of service. Quality of service, which is a very important parameter in computer networks according to the research point of view also. So how you need to provide quality of service, QoS. That is very difficult in datagram subnets because those are connectionless systems. In case of connection oriented systems, quality of service is easy if enough resources can be allocated in advance. Right? So before we can call it, we need to plan, right? How many nodes are there? What is the bandwidth of that particular connection and how much data I need to be sent? What is the time taken to travel each and every data? Something. So that is easy if connection, enough resources can be allocated in advance for each and every virtual circuit. Last one is congestion control. This is also very important in networks, but congestion control is difficult in case of datagram subnets, right? Whereas in case of connection oriented, that is easy if enough resources can be allocated in advance for each and every virtual circuit. So these are the various issues we need to compare between both datagram as well as the virtual circuit subnets. Circuit setup, addressing, state information, routing, effect of route failures, QoS, as well as the congestion control. So these are the various design issues of network layer. So in this video, we discussed what is network layer, what is the purpose of network layer, what are the functions of network layer, and design issues of network layer. So what are the design issues of network layer? First one, store and forward packet switching. Second one, implementation of connectionless services, implementation of connection oriented services, and services provided to the transport layer. Last one, comparison between datagram subnet and virtual circuit subnet. Right? So I hope you follow. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.